Hello everyone, Darren Gabbert here with 345 Auction. How are you? We are getting into probably the halfway point for the various auctions of the Bagale collection. Most likely we will finish up sometime toward the end of 2026. We still have a lot to go through. We've had 4 auctions so far, and what I'm going to show you right now comes from auction number 5, or we call it session number 5. This will end sometime in early September on a Saturday. I think it's the 9th, but don't quote me on that. And we are starting to get into some of the printed work, some of the printed material that Dr. Bagale had collected. In fact, all of this comes from the Bagale collection of Dr. John Bagale. He was a physician here in Pueblo for about 40 years, and he was a really sophisticated collector of German militaria. These 3 pieces that I have right here are identification cards for these 3 guys who were in the Sturmabteilung, which, if you are not familiar with that word, oftentimes known as the SA, or also known as the Stormtroopers. These were the Nazi Stormtroopers. And the Sturmabteilung had been started in the early 20s as a group that would protect Nazi rallies. Right? There was a lot of turmoil in the early 20s in Germany, lots of revolutions, lots of people beating up each other, or, everybody beating everybody else up, kind of a thing. And so the Sturmabteilung had been created to protect the Nazi rallies, beat up communists, and intimidate just about anybody else. And so these guys were part of the SA. And everybody had one of these cards. Everybody in Germany had one of these cards of some kind. If you were a worker, you had the Arbeitsbook. If you were SA, you had these. If you were in the Wehrmacht, you had another kind of identification, but you always had identification. And, it's kind of interesting when you read through this. This fellow here, I don't see his name right off. Irving, perhaps? I don't know if that's his first name or his last name. He was born on the 24th of March, 1913. And the stamp here says that he was from Greater Berlin, or at least that's where he was stationed. This fellow here, I tell you what, he is an evil-looking fellow. He looks like a Nazi. I don't want to be prejudiced here, but he does. He looks like a Nazi. He was born in 1910, the 15th of January. He was also stationed in Berlin. And then this fellow here, where was he stationed? This looks like some... he's a Sturmabteilung. Where was he from? He was from... Oh, here we go. Krefeld. These are interesting pieces, not alone for the fact that they have survived for so long, but that you get kind of a close-up look at what these guys look like in their uniforms. And this guy was I can't see his name here anywhere. This guy, or if it is here, I don't recognize it as such. He looks like a Nazi. He looks the part. If you were going to cast a Nazi out of central casting, this would be the fellow. All of this is coming up for auction in session number 5, which is the 5th auction. We've had 1 through 4. All 4 of them went really well. We had people from all over the world looking at the Bagale collection. If you would like to bid on these, or at least even see some of these pieces close up, I will put a link to this lot in the video description below. You can click through to that and you can see all of these pieces front and back. And if you can read them, then go right ahead. I have difficulty reading this fracture script. It's just terrible, or at least for me it is. Anyway, in that link you can see these close up. You can decide for yourself what their names were and where they were from. And if you would like to bid on them, you can do so through the link. However, if you've never bid with 345 Auction before, you will need to register. It's quick and it's easy, and it's not going to really get in your way. And the good thing is, once you've registered with us, You can bid in any future auction that we have, including anything in the Bagale collection. We have a lot of ephemera coming up. We haven't really even gotten into Dr. Bagale's library yet, and that thing is massive, and it's full of good stuff. Let me tell you, I can promise you, if you collect rare historical books from World War II, you're going to love his library. Anyway, all of that is coming up in September. If you have any questions, drop us a line through the website. And if you want to bid on these, there's going to be a lot of interest from around the world. I wish you luck.